My name is Abigail Sanchez. I'm a student from Thomasville High School, and I will be reading The One and Only Bob. Sometimes when Julia and I go for walks, I'll break at a corner. Corners are the best for fresh news. And she'll tug away, say, "Come on, Bob, there's nothing there." Oh, but there is. Here's the thing about poop and pee. I get that humans are not into them. I see the bathroom doors shut tight, the embarrassed, downcast gazes. You guys are really totally missing out. There's a whole lot of info hiding in your average pee mail. When dogs want to share the latest gossip, we just wait until nature calls. You'd be amazed what we can learn during a quick bathroom break. People read the news, check the TV, browse the web. I linger over a fire hydrant and inhale the whole wide world. My ears, by the way, are almost as remarkable as my nose. I pick up on all kinds of things humans can't hear. What we do with our noses and our ears is kind of like taking a big old knot and loosening it up, separating out the strands, unbraiding things. People smell a reeking pile of trash in a dumpster. We smell a dollop of cream cheese, a hint of peanut butter, a smattering of Fruit Loops. People hear the roar of a crowd in a stadium. We hear a strain of a whiny 4-year-old, a whisper of a worried Superman, and a note of grumpy hot dog vendor. Man, dogs are cool. While I watch from my perch on the back of the couch, Julia passes by on the sidewalk. George asked her to keep her dog walking route close to home in case the weather changes. She's wearing a shiny purple raincoat and leading 3 dogs, a goofy mutt named Winston, a timid dachshund named Oscar Mayer, and her, Snickers. An old nemesis of mine. Snickers is a white fluffy poodle with delusions of grandeur. A big snooty pain in the puffball. Oh, that pooch drives me crazy. Our mutual dislikes go back into my early days as a stray. Snickers is a fancy, pampered, sleep on a pink satin pillow kind of gal. Her owner, Mac, ran the mall where I lived with Ivan and Ruby. That's where I first encountered Snickers. She teased me mercilessly, and beneath that fuzzy facade, I always suspected there was a little, spark there. Anyways, after the mall closed down, Snickers being Snickers landed on her feet. Mac married an older widow lady with more money than sense, and she dotes on that ridiculous poodle. Mac's too lazy to walk Snickers himself, so he hired Julia to do it. "Looking good, Snick baby," I called through the open window, and she gives me her curled lip, squinty eye face, which, comes to think of it, is pretty much how she always looks. As usual, Snickers is dressed to the max. She's wearing a pink poncho, a sparkly rain hat, and a teensy pink boots. Those boots were made for mocking, I added for good measure. It feels good giving her some grief. But before I can relish the moment, another annoying acquaintance of mine appears. Nutwick, the gray squirrel who lives in the live oak in our front lawn, jumps to a lower branch, looking at me with barely concealed pity. I hate pity, especially the barely concealed kind. "I don't know why you taunt her," he says. "You're hardly in a position to talk, Bob. You are Snickers. Come over here to the window and say that. So you can what? Drool me to death?" "Are you aware that my best friend is a gorilla?" I asked. "You would make fantastic ape chow, dude." Nutwhip reaches for a dangling acorn, yanks it free. "I thought gorillas were vegetarians." "Ivan eats termites," I say. "He might make an exception for you." "Face it, Bob, you're soft. You're one step away from your own pink rain boots." "He has a point," says Minnie. one of the family's guinea pigs, from her cage next to the TV. No, he doesn't, says Moo, her cage mate. Yes, he does, Minnie squeaks. Doesn't, does, doesn't. Minnie pauses. Wait, you tricked me. The guinea pigs rarely agree on anything. Nut whips, leaps over to the window ledge, acorn in pond. He presses his tiny twitchy nose to the screen. You couldn't last a day out here, Bob. Some of us have to live by our wills. Hey, I lived on the streets longer than you have been alive. Nutwhip nibbles his acorn. He's quite the prissy eater. Whatever you say, Bob. I say scram. Fine, hint taken. Anyways, storm's en route. I should be stocking up on my nut stash while I can. Nutwhip gives me a wise guy look. That's how we do it in the real world. He scampers off with the aerobatic flourish. Squirrels never do a simple jump when a quadruple backflip cartwheel is an option. You're full of it, I say to nobody in particular. We're full of it, says Minnie. Yes, we're extremely full of it, says Moo. And they popcorn in agreement. Guinea pigs hop up and down when they're happy. That's called corny. And it's totally ridiculous. I am not soft, I muttered. You're happy. Wag your tail like a real man. I am not soft, I muttered, nosing my protruding belly. I leap with effort off the couch and then I head to the bathroom for a good long drink of water from the bowl of power. I know Nutwit has a point. I become a creature of habit, spoiled after a stretch of being my own dog for a lifetime. I was Bob the Beast, cunning and streetwise. As a stray, I lived off leftovers at the mall, while Snickers dined in her fancy pants kibble. Man, how I loved that cotton candy stuck on the floor. The unexpected UFOs, the ends of ketchup-covered hot dogs, scattered under the bleachers, like, I don't know, big toes or something. Ivan offered to share his gorilla food with me, and Stella and Ruby were always ready to pass along a carrot or an apple. But I refused. I needed to stay in shape, stay tough, stay true to my wild nature. Okay, so maybe every now and then I'd sneak a banana chunk from Ivan's food. But then things changed. I became civilized, domesticated, a pet. Don't get me wrong, there are definitely some perks. Julia, who's an artist, painted my name in a food bowl. She gave me this wonderfully mushy blanket, the kind where you can bed boogie forever until it's squished to perfection and you can curl up just so. I love that blanket, but I simply cannot sleep without, not Tag, Ivan's raggedy old toy gorilla. Of course, just when I get my blanket and not Tag imprinted with the right amount of eau de bois, Julia's mom does the unthinkable. Puts them in a washing machine and removes every last bit of me. There are other indignities I tolerate. The daily walk on a tug-of-war string after going stringless my whole life. The attempts to train me, like that'll ever happen. The kisses and cuddling. Well, the cuddling, okay, I suppose. But the kissing, I don't get it. If you're gonna kiss your dog, why not just give them a big old lick in the face and be done with it? Anyways, so what if I've gotten a little spoiled? A tad soft around the edges. There's a difference between being soft and being afraid. And being a coward. Too bad. I know the truth. I'm both. When Julia returns from her walk in her charges, I race over and give her a good old Bob-style hello. Lots of yipping and twirling, followed by some attempts to jump onto her arms. Humans love that stuff. Julia looks at me sternly and says, "Robert, down." I leap some more because I'm determined to convince her I'm incorrigible, untrainable. It's my part of my charm, my bubbliness. Down, she says again. From her coat pocket, she pulls out her little metal clicker, along with some treats. I hate that clicker. It's meant to help train me, but it's like a cricket bully. Here's a theory. I do something right, Julia clicks, gives me a treat. The clicks tell me that I'm behaving, and the treats reinforce it. If that happens enough before your very eyes, I suppose, to transform into a good dog. Well, ain't that easy. Down, Bob. Julia tries again. I want a treat, but not enough to cave, so I opt for a Playboy. I compromise. Julia sighed. You're definitely a challenging student. To my annoyance, she puts the treat back into her pocket. I think Julia may be onto me. A while ago, Julia got into her head that I needed to improve my manners. We went to a dog training class. I wasn't really into the whole sit and stay and do the tangle stuff. The worst command of all, the truly inexcusable, only a human could come up with. Order. Leave it. Leave it means walk on by, Bob. Sure, that's a piece of bacon just inches from your drooling pie hole, but do me a favor and just pretend it's not there, okay? Not okay. Where I come from, you never pass up on a free meal. UFO drops to the carpet, that's mine. I'll be chowing down before you can say, where the heck is my meatball? Within minutes, I was accused of being an undermotivated student, which is totally unfair. I am highly motivated. Just show me some cheese, please. Anyways, I may or may not have been a little unruly class clown stuff. Tail spinning, a little random peeing, some zoomies, just for show. Class, you see that crashy dashing around he's doing? Said the teacher, pointing at me with an accusing finger. We call him a frap. Frantic random activity, period. She pulled Julie aside. He's a smart dog, she said, but he's messing with you. Which was true, but I hated getting caught in the act. I thought I was more subtle. Bob needs to know who's boss, said the teacher. He needs to see you as pack leader. Give him some time. I see this is a lot with former strays. Takes them a while to trust people. Like forever in my case. As we left the class early, I yelled, "So long, suckers," to my classmates. Couldn't help rubbing it in just a little.